Are you tired of hearing again and again how you need to create more, better designs when it comes to your print on demand store? Maybe you've even heard it from me. Well, that's why in this video, I'm going to share with you the design system that our team uses that 4.6x our sales on our own Shopify print on demand brand, and took our brand from $45,000 to over $200,000 in sales just 90 days later. And I'm going to share the steps that we follow so that hopefully you can speed up the process and start consistently creating high quality designs without taking hours and hours every single day of the week. And step one is starting with something that a lot of people have heard a lot, but normally skip over, and that is identifying our customer avatar. And skipping this is the exact reason that most beginners' designs just simply never resonate with buyers that they're trying to get in front of. And the best part is that to do this, it's a pretty simple process. All you have to do is create a cheat sheet about your customer that we are then going to feed into ChatGPT. And to get started, we're going to go over to ChatGPT and enter the exact prompt that you see here on the screen. And this prompt and all the others we're going to cover, we're going to give to you completely free later on in the video. And what this prompt is doing is it's basically doing the heavy lifting for us of analyzing exactly who our target demographic is. And it's giving us insights into what are their hobbies and interests and basically how do they spend their day-to-day lives. Because when we know our customers at this deep psychological level, it makes the design process and the system that we're building so much easier because we simply never run out of new ideas. And most importantly, we are now no longer creating designs just for ourselves. We are creating designs with our customer in mind, which is such a simple differentiation, but it is so crucial and one that is the epitome of a 1-degree shift that can make all the difference further on down the road. So now that we know who our target customer is and what their interests are, step number 2 is to research and identify what the market is already buying, aka the top trending designs and styles that people are actively buying within our niche. So we know our ideal customer, so we don't have to worry about guessing anymore. We already know what their hobbies and interests are, and those now become the search terms that we enter into platforms like Etsy, Amazon, Pinterest, and wherever else they're currently buying. And I personally like to get started on Etsy because it is one of the most active marketplaces when it comes to print-on-demand products. And my rule of thumb is that if I ever find a niche that is super competitive and just saturated with tons of sellers, it's normally a pretty good sign that there's a lot of demand for that niche. And so I'll go to that site, and using some of the phrases that we just got from our GPT prompt, I then turn those into search terms in the search bar on either Etsy or Amazon. And so I type in, funny yoga designs if I'm in the yoga niche, or I type in yoga designs for middle-aged moms if, that was something that came up in the result that GPT gave us. And then as I see the results coming in, I'm starting to take specific note of 3 main things. Number 1 is what styles are performing the best. AKA, is it more minimal designs or is it more like floral graphic styles with lots of, vibrant colors? Then second is what's the topic? Is it more graphic based or is it more typography based? It's very common in most niches for it to lean, you're going to find a distribution in either case, but it's very normal that it might lean one way or another. And those are all really powerful signals for us that we want to make sure we take note of for when we get into the next step. And then the third thing that I'm looking for in my research, again, based off of the customer profile that we just got from ChatGPT, is what are the sub niches that we're seeing within yoga? For example, if we're in the yoga niche again, am I seeing that the average design is talking more about hot yoga or a specific type of yoga, or is it more mindfulness or spirituality based? Because that differentiation makes a huge difference again when we get into the next step. So step 3 is now that we've got our ideal customer and we know the trending styles for our target market, now we are ready to actually create something totally unique just with those simple 2 steps. But taking a step further, we're now going to be using what I call the cross idea formula. And it's honestly the number 1 place that I turn whenever it comes to wanting to create truly unique print on demand designs that will stand out in a crowded market. And the premise is really simple. Just instead of doing what too many sellers do and simply copying exactly what's already out there working, we want to strategically combine 2 to 3 proven concepts to create something completely unique and novel. And to give you an example, if we found, funny gardening shirts are selling extremely well. And then we also noticed that funny coffee lover shirts are popular at the same time. Well, now, rather than just making those individually, we ask ourselves, how could I, potentially combine them and make, powered by coffee and gardening or gardening fueled by coffee, 2 intersecting sub niches, that is something that when a customer sees it and they go, aha, that's me, that is the moment that we start to build towards having real customers. And this is really just scratching the surface when it comes to this process. And honestly, nowadays with ChatGPT, I used to do it completely manually. It has never been easier. If you even take just the customer profile that we created earlier on, and then you ask it to now give you cross-niching ideas based on current top selling or trending print-on-demand niches, it is going to give you endless ideas. And then when you combine that with the market research that you already did, aka the trending styles and topics and sub-niching opportunities, when you combine all of those just into a simple GPT conversation, the outputs are truly incredible. But most people just don't do this. They sit down and just visually look at Etsy and maybe take a couple of notes, and then they jump into whatever design creator they're using. And it's a very disjointed process that doesn't really, we might as well have just not even done research, to be completely honest. And I know because I did that for years. That's why we're talking about the system now that we use that consistently churns out top selling designs. Which leads me to an important point. If you want to get all of the prompts that we're using here so far and the ones we're going to use in the rest of the video, then click the link down below to join our free school community, 100% free. And once you log in there, you're going to get access to all of the prompts plus our 31-hour course that goes into much greater detail about all of the topics that we're covering here today. Now back to the system, moving on to step 4. Now we're going to quickly create winning design ideas using everything that we've built on up until this point. Because one of the most common things I hear from beginners is that it's really hard to come up with original concepts. Well, the shortcut is number 1, doing all of the things that we just talked about, and then going over to ChatGPT and using yet another prompt. So the prompt that we're going to use here, and notice how this builds off of the customer profile that we built earlier. Give me 5 funny gardening quotes a coffee-loving mom would proudly wear. And in just seconds, ChatGPT is going to give us clever, original quotes and slogans that are absolutely perfect for the niche that we're targeting. Which this is really like the missing link when it comes to leveraging AI today, is that I totally get it when people struggle to come up with unique concepts when we're just using generic GPT. But that's simply because AI is only as good as the prompts we're putting into it. And as long as we're putting in generic prompts that everybody and their brother is using, then we can, consistently expect to just get overly generic responses. All right, now step 5, to turn our concepts into high converting designs, we're going to use a platform called Mystic POD, which Mystic is the AI platform that I built specifically for print-on-demand sellers, because the only thing that is built for is to create high-converting t-shirt designs. And so what you're able to do, because it's not built for anybody else but you guys, is take the basic concepts that we had and plug it into the prompt bar, and Mystic is trained to create high-converting t-shirt designs. So from simple prompts with no extra prompt engineering, you're able to take the concepts we just came up with, and within seconds, you have high converting t-shirt designs. But my biggest thing is, if you're already using a tool that you are comfortable with, just stick with that. Like if you're already very proficient with any other tool out there, then more power to you. Like do not get shiny object syndrome. I think Mystic is a great option, but by no means does that mean that you should just add something onto your roster. And to help you guys out further, by clicking the link down below, you're able to import a collection of print-on-demand designs that I made myself, that when you click it, it's totally free account. You're going to get those designs automatically imported, and then you can start working off of those to remix or whatever you want to do to adapt them for your own brand. And then now that we have designs, we're going to do the most obvious next step, which is review them, but not in the typical sense like everybody does. Make sure that, the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. That's obvious. What we really want to be looking for is the visual comprehension of our design, which is a subtle thing that most people are not aware of until years down the road. And that is just simply the fact that we only have 2 seconds from the time that somebody looks at our t-shirt to make sure that they fully understand it and connect with it before we lose their attention for forever. And this is especially true if you're selling on a platform like we do, like through Facebook and Instagram ads, where people are constantly inundated with notifications and just dopamine central. Basically, they're scatterbrained as heck, and we need to do everything we can to grab their attention for the split second that we have it. And the way we do that is very simple. It's through simplicity and clarity, and not overdoing the designs that we are creating. Like, to give a quick example, here is a design that is way too complicated. And this is very common when it comes to using AI tools. Then on the other hand, we have a design that is super simple. And when you just look at both of these for a split second, you can see the difference in how quickly they communicate the message or the overall meaning of what they're trying to convey. And the best way to apply this to your workflow, especially when you're just a team of one, is when you have your Google Drive folder of designs or stored on your desktop, wherever they may be, as you're scrolling through them, which designs jump out off the screen at you and which ones just kind of fade into obscurity. It's normally the designs that are the more complex, they blend into the background and just become noise, and the designs that are simple that actually stand out, which is very counterintuitive to how most beginners start out when they are creating their very first round of designs. Then now that we know how to create good designs, we know how to review them to make sure that they are simple and communicate the message quickly. The most important piece of all is number 7, and that is that we need to make sure that our mockups are presenting our design in a way that grabs people's attention, almost jumps off the screen at them. Because the biggest conversion killer of all is when we have amateur looking product mockups where you can just tell that it's like kind of Canva, and it certainly was not created at a photo shoot with somebody holding the camera above the product. And good news, if you're anything like me and not a designer by trade, and if I was to sit down and try to make one of these myself, I would be there for a year before I got anything workable. There's awesome tools out there like Placeit that allows you to create photorealistic looking mockups without needing to use Photoshop or any of those skills that I certainly, for one, do not have. And finally, step 8 is to launch, test, and scale your winning designs rapidly. There's a direct correlation that we notice amongst members in WeScale between the amount of sales that they've had and how quickly they went from launch to testing, essentially ripping off the Band-Aid and testing their very first design. And we go into extreme detail about exactly how we set up and run our ads and how to read all the metrics in the 31-hour course that, again, is completely free when you join the community down below. But the TLDR of it is that we launch with a super small testing budget. Think in the ballpark of $5 to $15 per day. And we are quickly looking to see what is the cost per click on our top designs. And then the cheapest ones is a really good sign. And then we go and create more designs like those. And then the designs that get expensive clicks, like $1, $2, $3, or even $4 sometimes, that's also a great sign for us of what not to do for our next round of designs. So as soon as we get that feedback, we then pause the ads, meaning we're no longer spending, and then we just go back and repeat the same process with the new information that we have. And this is effectively the same as the step that we did in the research step, which is there we are looking out at the market to seeing, what data is there that we can pull from to inform our design decisions. Now we have proprietary data. We have the data of what we just learned from our customers in our own ad account. Then once you rinse and repeat that process enough times, which again, absolutely none of this is to say that it's easy. Like I've seen some people that nail this on their first round of testing, but then I've seen other people, it takes 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds of testing before they really start to get the profitability. The difference in those two experiences a lot of times comes down to who followed this kind of system or workflow to make sure that they are, conducting a data-driven approach to when they're creating their designs, and they're not just designing for themselves. And then when they sit down to create their designs, they're trying to combine proven ideas and not just ripping off what they're seeing elsewhere. And then they use ChatGPT along with the prompt that we came up with to iterate and create winning ideas extremely fast. And then they jump into an AI tool like Mystic POD with those concepts and use that to generate potentially best-selling designs. And then they review all the designs that are being outputted to make sure that the visual comprehension is possible within the first 1 to 2 seconds of somebody seeing it. Then they don't stop there. They take that and they put it on a visually striking photorealistic mockup. And then they take it one step further and they rip off the Band-Aid as early as possible by ramping up their testing with a small $5 to $15 a day testing budget. And then they don't stop there. They rinse and repeat that entire process, and they recognize that watching one YouTube video is obviously not the solution to everything. Everything is a journey, and that they are learning at every step of the way. And they are actively seeking to objectively review the feedback that they're getting, not just from coaches or from peers, but most importantly from the market. And they never put on blinders and think that just because I made a design means that it has to be a bestseller. I've learned enough by now to know that anything that I expect is going to do well, it's normally the opposite. All that I can do is show up each and every day and consistently commit myself to a process that's hopefully going to create better and better designs that one day will really resonate with the customers that I've chosen. So if this video helped you at all, then please leave a comment right now and just simply tell me, what is the #1 challenge that you currently have when it comes to creating designs for your print-on-demand business? I will read every single comment, and I'd love to see what feedback you guys have and how I can help overcome it in videos to come. And if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss any of the proven strategies or updates that we have on our 0 to 7 figure brand, so that it can hopefully help you on your own print-on-demand journey. So other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.